That's kind of where I think the big difference is in terms of how does Blue Otter pull off the same composition against YFP compared to when they played versus Shopify, because yeah, Paint was struggling immensely getting anything done because the Cypher was just so damn good. So we'll see if that will hold the case once again against the Yoru, or will there be something a little bit different here for YFP to bounce back into this series?
So far, so good. It's an anchor hold by the back of the side, but Dean still gets that kill.
That's all they'll get though. Yep.
It's not that
dog
great.
hoping for it. Not bad, not great. It's just that's fair doing entry things. Just get on in there, soak up bullets.
Sometimes bad. This time bad.
Salvo, flash. Combination was decent, but Zoe does not care. Does not care. Little dance here, a little wiggle, little wag. Stellar off the reload. No, not quite. I don't know why my voice just got so high pitched. Blue Otter takes the pistol.
I thought it was going to be able to go higher than that. I don't know.
Off the reload.
Just a little falsetto towards the end. But at least I think it continues on to what we just witnessed on Split, that it is going to get quite chaotic here and there, and sometimes not as clean as we want it to be. But you still have some players who are able to step up to the plate and keep making it close, right? For example, Zostel at the bottom of the hell here, Stellar with the 2K, almost reloading on time to even get the last kill. Overall, though, to get back to your conversation in terms of you know, the value here of the Yoru on the YSP side instead of the Neon too, you are able to play a little bit more slower and a little bit more controlled, I guess, in that sense. And they are playing quite differently this time, actually, for YFP in their eco. They're playing a 4-1, but not with the Vice.
Yeah, that's tough for Penny, trying to sneak into a corner on site. Bob just able to catch it. Yeah, just good follow-up crossfire angles here. Stellar connects for one, Jake another, but simply put, out-traded. B-Dog, last one left. On the pinch, Bob. Oh, not even close on that shot, but doesn't make a difference. Zeke is right there. As 2-0 start, the bonus will be, well, weak in certain regards here for Blue Otter, but 2-0 is 2-0.
Exactly, some good damage. And the reason why I wanted to talk about a pistol round or an eco that was slightly different for IFP is I respect that. Because Penny's playing a TP quick for an A-side control towards that link. But also, once he realizes that there's no pressure coming through, then at least you have a Vice Flash and a 4-player stack on C-Link and C, which would have been quite good for the side of YFP to fight with if the read was good on that side. Unfortunately, though, with the TP and then already Penny falling, well, everything else kind of just crumbled, and Blue Otter was able to compose themselves into a B-side plan.
Ooh, good opening contact. Actually, Jake finds first blood through mid. Thief denies the decoy. You also had some damage tallied on to Fair in the meantime. Aldrone to scout out. May have caught the shoulder of Jake. Well, now it catches all of them. But the paranoia does get baited out. That's really the only intention there for Blue Otter, to see if they can maybe get some utility out of that play. And they also pop the shear wall.
And thankfully, I was going to say Fair still has double tap and maybe could have gotten something done because both Stellar and Penny are low.
Dusted.
Looks like the bonus round is not going to convert too much as of yet here for Blue Otter.
Yeah, if anything, it's actually more of a bonus for YFP if they pull this off flawlessly, because the economy is going to start to look pretty good. But Bob going to give something to consider. Penny, do you check this? 2 ships in the night? Oh, almost. Penny does come back, find the kill. YFP on the board, only dropping 1.
And it's good, especially when Stellar and Penny, when they got heavily damaged at the beginning of the round. Invest in shields and utility, but they're still going to be in a decent spot for another buy in the next round, except for Jakey. That said, though, with Bob activating the way that she did on the first map, has an opportunity to activate with the gun round of Blue Water, as she has a dimensional drift to work with. That said, there's not too much util behind her to follow up with that, so it's just on her to find the information, maybe where Blue Water could out-rotate after.
Okay, Penny, first blood. Gate crashes back. Pressure still on, with especially the dimensional drift just scouting things out, but that's going to run out. Yeah, timing of this to execute, if you want to call it that, it's just a fake, but the timing of this play is very odd. You're going to get a rotation into A. Stellar going to respect that by moving to Heaven, and Bob, who's low, is just going to try to play a corner, and he's just completely flashed beyond recognition. Razor Vines are out. Stellar's going to find a freebie, and that play was anything but what was designed for Blue Otter.
And look at the HP remaining for each players of YFP. They didn't get hit at all. When they were the ones that pressed forward in that defensive round, that was sick. That flash, it looked like Bob should have dodged that because she turned away from it. But then as soon as you saw it from the POV here of YFP, she was full blind. Nothing she could do. That said, the fact here that they pressured with the fault line and have their Yoru Penny run out the way that he did and got that punish onto Zostel was a great start. After that, though, it was just unfortunate. You're just spamming through the smoke with Phantoms behind the Dimensional Drift. You catch some players from behind, and there's nothing really that Blue Water could do behind the Dimensional Drift.
Well, I love this. YFP just not even going to respect the wall from Fair. Just walk up to A-Long, say you don't want to support that contingency with anything else. We'll just go ahead and chow it. So, opening first blood good for YFP. Establishing a foothold still on the A site with immense pressure starting to make their way in. Paranoia, Aldrone going to see some of it, but Penny still holding in the same corner that he was in before. Able to find every single elimination, and this, again, is just another round for Blue Otter that does not go anywhere near how it was designed to.
Yeah, and a half buy just to try to get a flat down for the side of Blue Otter. But I love so far that YFP at the beginning of these rounds with Penny is just disrespecting every single spot. He is just moving out, fighting between walls, fighting against Fair, who has had zero value so far as an entry fragger for the side of Blue Otter. You can't tempo as quickly because you still have to wait behind like TPs if you're trying to create some space. So it's all up to the guy brute forcing in. And even when he pops up the shield, he's getting instantly denied and shut down. So this is looking pretty good for YP now that they have their money back in order. But that said, this is finally another gun round back for Blue Water. No plans, but they still have a pretty decent buy. And also on the side of YP, nobody's playing an outlaw. So there is still a good chance here for Blue Water to do some damage within this round number 6.
Well, it's going to be a patient approach here. Can't say I blame Blue Otter for that, especially considering that you've got an Armageddon at the ready and nearly a Rolling Thunder and Dimensional Drift for YFP. So any bad early contact by any of those two members could lead to essentially an unwinnable round, and Jake will, well, get one, not get away. Fair able to sneak through long, is able to find the trade. That'll open up the site on A. Bob just playing a little bit of a lurking role over towards Garage. It's going to keep YFP's defense interested a little while longer. And, well, this is a good salvo combination with the fault line, but doesn't really turn into too much besides a little bit of damage, and here comes the full attempt.
And you have not a Cypher lurk, but a Euro lurk.
Yeah. Flash out. Armageddon called to clear out sewer. That's enough to flush out one. So, stepping into the dark cover, good for 2, but the trades from Thief are even better. But here's that pinch from Bob for the 1v2. Thief just toggling. It's going to give Bob a little bit of time. But nice angle from Stellar. Just able to catch the barrel of Bob through the dark cover. Enough time for the defuse. And YFP going to be up 4-2.
And a nice defuse towards the end. Yeah, I respect the fact that Blue Water had to stay within the sights to fight. So that's what they did, because you're facing against the Armageddon. He was going to take down towards sewers, down towards long. You're already flushing players outside of those positions. But playing out in the open and trying to late that he did, I don't think the utility on their side was working on their end. They actually just threw a smoke towards spawn instead, which still allowed YFP to flood back in and trade within like those close enemy lines. I felt you needed something else, which unfortunately the composition doesn't really have here for Blue Water. So counting on aim, and the aim wasn't good enough, and YFP now is able to convert another round and making it a difficult buy for Blue Water in round number 7, as counting on Fair again, but it's a high-low. Can't even pop your shield.
Not as much efficiency from Fair on this offensive half as we had seen versus Shopify, and it's not even for any real reason besides they're just getting picked. Like, I hate to make it sound so simple, but
it is.
Yeah, Fair on the offensive side when they were playing up against SRB was 3 for 3 in first bloods to first death ratio.
Also owning in pulse plan scenarios too. So right now, for Blue Water, they're struggling to even get on site, and when they are on site, though, the protocol is really good for YFP for the retake. So YFP is definitely learning from their mistakes when they were playing against their opponents last time around, and they're making it very difficult here for Blue Water to convert some rounds on their attack side.
Very difficult. Yeah, I mean, This feels like a night and day difference from the YFP, or pardon me, from the Blue Otter that we saw on Tuesday. Just, I don't know. It's just like they're trying to just walk down with Fair almost by themselves. And yeah, we need to talk about just, I think, our overall coordination, because coming to this next round, purchase will be limited again. And you're looking at 6 in a row for YFP. I'm actually surprised it's taken this long to call the timeout, because now you've got Steel Garden on the way, almost there, Rolling Thunder, Dimensional Drift ready. And those are difficult things to work through. Where on the other side, it's really just the kill contract for Fair that's available, from what I could tell. That's going to make maybe a difference maker in the round outcome.
Yeah, you have a solo guy trying to make a play here for the side of Fair, because when he's walking forward, he's getting disrespected by Penny just like that, running behind a contingency wall and winning the duels and TPing away. And then if you're giving him that space, he's trying to walk up to find information, but it's just being met by one player or a high-low or anything. He's just not going to get any good value out of it. The timeout for me is, if you're still going to try to have Fair do something and open things up, I think you need that extra body, an extra person with him, or at least like a recon guard. Give the tell. Who cares? If it does get a ping, it'll at least allow for him to pop up his double shield earlier than expected, and then go for a forced duel into a fight that he could win, and usually has been winning when you witness how he played on the first map. So you're seeing here off this timeout, it is going to be a different buy. I mean, it's a sheriff buy. It's a half buy into the next round. But I think it'll be important for them to work on trying to get the Dimensional Drift for Bob. Because combining a Dimensional Drift with the Hunter's Fury from Zeke could maybe start turning things around here for Blue Otter as well. And there's that smoke on top C. And if it's not being contested, you should be able to get this this ult orb here for Bob. There you go. She picks it up. There's the bit.
Drone going up.
Another first death for Fair. This round kind of inconsequential. It's just sheriffs and a marshal, but
yeah,
I mean, we've seen sheriffs and challengers do not necessarily mean a lost round, but I don't know, just something feels off. Like watching Blue Water try to approach this offensive side compared to when they played it just 2 days ago. It's concerning, I think, if you're a Blue Water fan.
Yeah, it's YFP throwing a lot of different looks for sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
And it's making Blue Water second guess every type of play that they're trying to do. Look at how slow they're playing this time around, thinking that you would have somebody like, you know, Penny walking up and trying to engage, and now they're just walking individually. I know it's still an anti-eco that they're playing against here for Blue Water, but they're still walking into solo positions and just getting met by super passive crossbar setup from YFP. And now the next round, when you have these ults to work with on your side here of Blue Water, it might change right away. YFP might be the one adding the tempo and instantly going for some sort of planned attack to deny you that space. You're seeing it here before we get into this this replay here, Shift, that there is a couple of pings happening towards the C site, so they are potentially trying to leverage this Hunter's Fury play even before the Dimensional Drift. And for all of YFP, they were focusing more on A side control, which is fine because you have a Rolling Thunder to play with on your retake.
Hunter's Fury out. Isolation good. Thief will drop. Kill contract also comes through, but it catches a decoy. We've seen that a lot this stage. Just part of the deal. Dimensional drifts on both sides going to be popped. Bob hasn't seen anything yet, and the Rolling Thunder is going to come through. That's actually really well placed, but B-Dog not expecting that Bob was behind him. Now leads to these very awkward kind of retake engagements from essentially inside and around the site. But Jake, for a 1v2 situation, going to have an angle to be able to hold this for at least halfway, and almost able to kind of beat the timing on the peak, but doesn't fully work out. Fireball secures the round, and that's the first gun round for Blue Otter secured.
And YFP already knew that there was going to be a kill contract being thrown towards the logs, which is why you saw Thief almost looking like he was throwing, just running into a straight line towards that logs. But he didn't expect, even if the clone was picked up at the kill contract, JK went for the full TP back site, and it was unheard because it was being masked by the Hunter's Fury, and Thief would have been thrown down no matter what. So that extra ult that was there on the side here, sorry, of Zolstool, gave a chance here for Blue Water to take full control of that C site. So a chess game around the ults that runs in their favor, but now YFP goes for another rebuy when they have their own ults in round number 10.
Armageddon right down Main Street. Putting some pressure on towards B, but again, that really doesn't do much to deter this defensive setup that has been built. In fact, B-Dog's just going to step right back up again. So if there is any sort of a peak, you're going to have to, well, just beat him on the timing, and that's exactly what happened. So never mind. I was trying to frame that up to say that B-Dog put himself in a good spot, but first blood's tallied. Response to get us to a 4v4, though, from Thief.
At least it's there. The Fair does have some support. Like a Fireball is just sticking to him on the hip. And he's getting entries without even using double tap. The confidence that he has now that he has an extra body tied to his hip. That's insane. Finally uses it, and it's like, oh, wait, let me just sell this fake towards the C site. And then A site's now for the taking with that pick from Bob. So it turns out to be nice towards the end. The macro is there, but just the micro, you're kind of happy here for Fair's side that without using shield, he's still getting these kills.
Well, just down to Penny.
Spike planted.
Looking for some time, maybe try to contest the exit for this post plant, but the decoy fools nobody. There's the flash. Again, a little high-low setup is going to work out, and plus, of course, the crossfire from Zostal. Yeah, really well done. So, okay. After the timeout, things starting to look a little bit more business as usual here for Blue Otter, but still plenty to work with if you're YFP to try to, you know, again, take a little bit more of an advantage and an edge here in this first half.
I was definitely surprised by the Armageddon by Stellar, because, yeah, you're splitting some players across, but I didn't see any salvos going into that little corner by the window or any position that allows you to get an aftershock in front of B main to try to capitalize on some sort of damage being done in that spot. So I feel like YFP was a little bit caught off guard in terms of the timing and the tempo that Blue Water was using in that round to gain space. And finally, they go into what worked at the beginning of these rounds here for YFP, putting Penny into the front lines, trying to cut rotates. That said, his TP is about to disappear in the next 5-10 seconds, and if he doesn't use it here, he's pretty much going to be on a one and done, and he's hoping to hear the rotates across because the spikes drop towards the spawn, but everybody's so far just walking, so it's not the best of spots here for Penny to be at in terms of understanding where the hit's coming from. Oh, the bait and switch. This is a free kill from Sova. Yeah.
Should be, and it is. Good call. So that'll be a weapon collected. Hit already on towards A. Could be contested here. Yeah, Steel Garden could be immediately effective. Salvo to follow. Can they catch timing to get back into sight, though? Doesn't make a difference. Not when Zoe's winning battles against a rifle with a classic. Not once, but twice. Woof. Paranoia out, denied by the double tap, and that is a very effective round for Blue Otter. One that will come with a lot of punish on the YFP before we head to the second half.
Yeah, Unit plays very, very weak on the side of YFP. I think this is probably the second time that when you're trying to play contact towards the A site for Blue Water, that nobody's playing inside there. And once you get to the minute mark, they hear a drone coming in from the top heaven side. So it was a good read by Blue Water with the condition that they had and the space that they were taking in the previous rounds to realize here that you're playing so passively off the site here for YFP and just get in a good spot to fight back in that moment. So I also hate shift that I'm a boomer, and every time you say Steel Garden, I just think about Savage Garden.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think about what I think about when I say Steel Garden is Wicked Garden by Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, two different genres. Still bangs.
Still boomer age-ish.
Yep.
Still early 2000s. Rock Garden. That's effectiveness off of Sheer. Zeke was just trying to proc something, gets caught. 5v4 here early into the round. Still plenty of time to work with. And an A site that is relatively open. Oof. Okay, that'll work. Couple of contact plays.
Who's next? Okay, who's next?
Yeah, for real.
There we go. This is sometimes the type of casting we have to do in Challengers, where you're trying to maybe talk about some sort of macro micro, but you know you just have individual 1v1s, just swing one by one, and then YFP at least are able to close out something here on their half, because Blue Water was starting to find some equal footing in the last few rounds. since a timeout was being called here on their side. So I have to give props to Blue Water maintaining their composure since that timeout to keep this game close. Because if not, this is easily going to go into a third map here for YFP side.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I will say the bounce back there in those 3 rounds in a row for Blue Otter keeps this essentially back to level footing in a certain way. I won't say like that fully because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done here, but it's better than what it was looking like, tell you that much. And this pistol can really, again, change the dynamic of how this map has gone. So important here for Blue Otter.
Ooh.
For YFP, maybe a cushion, as that's a lot of damage.
Yeah,
out of this YFP offense. Zeke.
Second shock too.
Chuck dart. That one, not as much.
Jake is still low at the funny number in HP. And YFP still committing to the hit.
Flash comes through. Double tap out. And that'll work out. Blue first 2 kills come through. B-Dog only able to find 1 on the trade. Leaving Stellar now by himself. 1v3. Tagged and now being played with. Yeah, Fireball comes in, swift headshot, and Blue Otter take a quick pistol.
And despite us looking on paper that it doesn't look like it does enough damage with the shock darts that Zeke was doing, it's definitely enough there for the double swing on the sewers to get a lot of value on the fight in a retake towards the side. So gotta give props to Zeke and what he did over there, even if the assist column doesn't really show because it's all been done a little bit later. All the damage has been done later after the shock darts were hit and getting value. But now you're seeing Blue Water looking to fight here towards the choke. Sorry, they understood YFP's Hail Mary plays. You should get an undercut moving through, and there you go with a shock dart. No kills though.
Just the recon bolt this time, but Zeke can actually peek off of that and do a little bit of damage with the Spectre this time. So here we go. YFP. Bold call here with the Stinger. And I think a lot of it's been read. Yeah, Paranoia going to get queued up. Gate crash denied. Zeke stepping into the salvo. Trying to break timing. Doesn't really work out. Now Fair is by himself. Bob off the pinch. Nothing there. But a bait and switch fireball is okay. But no. Not enough. One's not enough when there's 5 members on the table. So good for YFP. Bouncing back. Stinger purchase works out nicely.
Yeah, and the G2 buy going into that second round after the plant was nice here for YFP. And they were trying to find a timing, at least for Blue Water, with the undercut shock dart. But unfortunately, didn't find a timing. It's nice for YFP to slow the tempo at the very beginning. Even the Paranoia doesn't get too much value. So all of that early utility doesn't give them too much to work with to try to hold the actual push from YFP into the A site. And they're able to punish that quite well here for YFP. And making it a very difficult buy for Blue Water. Bob goes for a Guardian. So a force buy on her side. It's a Hero Rifle. Just I'm spawning for info, but this is Bob still trying to find a timing here towards sewers.
Yeah,
she won't find anything yet, though, because YP is going to move into B.
Ooh, almost. Actually, a tag does land onto Penny, but we'll see. Plant on B looks pretty certain. Walk down at grass is something that Blue Water found a lot of success with against Shopify Rebellion. Not the case here. At least not yet. Retake on the way. Fair going to put a toggle in. Going to force Jake to spam. They're going to know that this weapon is close by. Right click also coming through, but Fair will fall as Jake will get one, get away. That's actually so big. And for the retake, now all of a sudden, yeah, you lose out in Garage. Jake has gotten into a position to kind of kill more time off. The decoy flash only pushes YFP back slightly. There's the pinch. Again, just making this super difficult to hold on for any sort of a defuse. And that aggressive purchase from Bob is going to get punished.
I mean, still got the kill at the thief. I'm not too sure what we're chasing after that kill. We're giving orbs here. Yeah, you're saving a Guardian in the next round, but it's not the best weapon that Blue Water tries to save into the next round. I'd probably still let Zolsel survive with it, if anything, but it doesn't matter. It's still a bonus round here for YFP. The reason why I said a little was, yes, when they lost control towards the garage right here, Fireball actually got flashed by Zolsel from B into the garage door. So we couldn't get the best value for Fireball ups right around the door side to try to get a pick and try to win that fight against B-Dog. So slight mishaps here and there, but still around converting here for YFP, who continue to condition this A-side take at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Once we swing back out, Penny's waiting with the Outlaw, and it connects. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, I mean, again, this, I do come across, like, after watching Blue Water versus SRB, it's like, Shopify Rebellion were just allowing Blue Otter to do whatever the hell they wanted to on this map. You're not getting that from YFP. They're going to challenge you at A long. They're going to throw things over towards C to make sure you're not getting a walk down. You can even see, again, just a lurk from Jake hanging on at mid, respecting that there could be some sort of a defensive play over through grass. So it's just a lot of respect given here from YFP. Judge, though, working on it for the first blood from Fireball, turns this into an early 5v3. Penny with one response, Stellar another. And all of a sudden, you've got a 3v2 situation and the offense can plant.
God, with Fireball ups did so good towards the back of that C site. That should have been traded out any day there by Bob.
My ultimate is ready.
So for one, but Stellar's still holding on the site. Quick for the trade. Shock dart, not deep enough. Now it's down to, oh, they don't know B-Dog's playing it long. Oof. See if the contact will come through here for Zeke. Toggle will
over under chances of Zeke.
I'm gonna go under.
Over. Under.
How quick the tides turn.
Dude, okay, well, if Zeke didn't get hit by that fault line and he stayed in that spot, I think he would have won. Because the tap with the full wide swing, I think was super nice. It's just he felt the pressure of that timer. And couldn't figure out where B-Dog was going to be coming from until that fault line actually hit him, and then you went on time. So very nicely done towards the end, but it still came to be a 1 versus 1 shift. This was still an early first blood that came out on the side of Penny, and then these type of plays happened. Not too sure where we're spamming towards that back of the wall, because I feel like didn't the recon dart go towards the wall and not towards the floor? It should have cleared towards the back anyways. And that was a small mistake there that allowed YFP to convert another round.
Cutting through.
4 rounds to the good. Our YFP at the moment with a limited purchase for Blue Otter. This is what, I was saying, this is what Blue Otter were trying to do, and well, not trying. They were successfully doing this versus Shopify. Just early walkdowns at grass, and YFP are just prepared for it. I mean, you're not going to get away with it 2 maps in a row, or 2 times on Haven in a row, I should say. And I was, again, when we were casting this, when Ten and I were casting this versus Shopify, I was just like, how are they still allowing Blue Otter to just walk down mid? And YFP are just not letting that happen this time.
Oh, you say that. And there's 2 players walking behind.
Yeah, that's down long at sea, though. This is somewhat, somewhat allowed to happen. Yeah, because Steve is watching for it, so.
And also just an eco you have for Blue Water, which is actually unfortunate too that you're doing this at this moment in time though for Blue Water. This would have been much better if you had a gun round on your side to not let them know that you've identified some of these gaps and some of these mistakes potentially since the vice wall is being placed towards the C-long push, right? And I think that goes back to the question of what you were mentioning before. How does Blue Water keep pushing down and getting value out of SRB? It's very similar of what they're doing right now here, because you're not playing against a Cypher that's setting up double trips here to watch both C and towards A. So there is an opportunity to find some timing there, which is why I think looking at the default on the side of YFP, they should still try to add more players towards or watching flank or adding mid pressure in the very beginning.
Well, this round is a must-win here for Blue Otter. Armageddon early over towards A-Long. Going to push, yep, exactly. Zeke right into the battleground. It's just, again, you get such an easy read when you're throwing all of your Sov utility out. Zoe's going to get read by the stealth drone. Yeah, this has not gone according to plan at all for Blue Otter. You get one. Kill contract may be able to get you back into the mix. Has Jake trapped in it. Lands it. Aftershock. Wow, actually keeps Fireball away from cover. Undercut will hit. Cross being watched by Bob. Opening shot good, but no kill. Special delivery pushes him off the angle. And now we're going to go join on to Thief over towards C.
Yeah, easy plant towards the end. But also, that little buff coming up here from Fair on the ISO a couple of patches ago. He already used his double tap at the very beginning, got it broken, but when he ults, he still gets it again. Wins that fight towards that pit and stays alive here in this fight. That said, they've lost so much map control and so much space that the rotate should be heard now by B-Dog. And now if Bob doesn't clear this corner, it should be an easy kill. And it's an easy kill.
One enemy remaining.
Wow. So that might be the game right there.
Yep. Yeah,
Unless-
the money's abysmal right now. I mean, there's still a wall. You could right-click wall and maybe try to go for a... Oh, not with that slow.
Nope. And that little bit of extra damage. Followed up with more. Sweet. Cool wall, bro. All right. YFP 12-6 up. And it hasn't been close, honestly.
Match
Yeah.
point.
And even if you're trying to right-click down the wall and there wasn't any razor vines there, you still had Stella with the salvos, and that would have totally nullified the wall being pushed down. So, if anything, the amount of ways the amount of ways that YFP are able to take long A control is actually quite nice. You went from Outlaws to util to now the Armageddon to flush players out. There's just no way to really hold it this time, and you're just trying to guess it through this time around for Blue Water. Double trips on this side and trying to play more passively on the A site control. But that, to me, if YFP doesn't realize anything yet, well, you're going to realize it with the ult now that the Cypher's playing here, so you can pivot away from this spot.
Ooh, but the flash to the fault line combination really does not land as it was intended to, but Bob trying to break timing through lobby gets caught by Penny. And even though the initial idea doesn't necessarily work,
Here.
doesn't matter. You still get first blood. It's just I have no other way of saying it. That's gonna be the game.
And second blood and third blood, because it goes back to, okay, we lost. I mean, this is also respectable, right? It looks kind of like nonsensical what you're kind of doing here, but you are at a player disadvantage in the purest way of tactical shooters. When you don't have any drones because it's anchored up towards that C site, you have to try to find information somehow. So you're trying to jiggle peek, trying to find information, and you get punished for that because YP just stays back towards the spawn. Even ult for info. Oh yeah, confirm. The Cypher's still there because his trips are playing there. Yeah, you're still hitting it.
Rolling Thunder out.
30 seconds left.
Throw the kitchen sink at him. Judge? Nope. GG. Wow. So as impressed as you were for Blue Water for being able to come out on top on split.
But do you not have any faith on Zeke?
Nope, sure don't. Not with the Guardian. Not in a 1v5.
Look at that, shoot! I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Collide him. No! Cinematic slowdown
You should have seen
headshot.
him. We saw it. Why didn't you see him?
Well, that was a beatdown. YFP clean, really from start to finish, and that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, it just